The big one is capital expenditures versus operating expenditures. This is huge. The people who hire me predominantly are women. It's amazing in Texas how many women are controllers and CFOs. Both my controller and my CFO are women. One of the problems they have is, well, there's this little thing about capitalization. It requires you actually have cash. And cash is king. Cash is equivalent to having oxygen and being underwater. It's a really good thing to have. You don't need it immediately, but you are absolutely certain you will need it. And it's coming soon. And if you're ever raising money, you'll probably need 4 times more than you originally thought. Why? Because it's going to take you twice as long and you'll have half the resources. So you'll need 4 times more money. You think you need $2 million to start your company? You better raise 12. When I was at MIT doing my entrepreneurial master's program, the woman who founded the little Roomba, little vacuum cleaner and things, stuff like that, she actually lived here in Clear Lake, by the way. She worked for NASA. And, she just wanted to make robots. And then she's just, all right, well, we'll start a robot company. She goes out and starts a robot company. She spends 17 years raising money, not building robots, not being some genius, not getting to do the things that she woke up every day being all totally excited. No, she raised money. And then when she ran out of money, she raised more money. And then she raised more money. And she raised more money. And then they did a project, and they learned a little bit, and they had a couple failures, and they did some other things, and they had some failures, and they learned, and boom, boom, and then all of a sudden, Roomba, boom, $525 million market capitalization. Now they have so much cash in the bank, it literally pays their entire payroll for the year just on the interest. So, overnight success sensation, just like we've all heard about, right? 17 years of raising capital. It's a wonderful thing, but you got to have it. Banks are tight right now. You're raising capital, getting money from banks. I mean, the commercials are true. You do have to have excellent credit. You should have excellent credit as an individual. It is essential to being an entrepreneur. Your credit has to be dandy. Trust me, having gone bankrupt, I cannot tell you how important it is to have great credit. That was 1990, it's 2011, believe me, I'm way beyond it, but it was not a pretty time. It definitely changes your behavior. But when you have capital expenditures, you have to depreciate things. The depreciation laws have changed. We got thrown a bone by Congress when the Republicans took over. Broke out that New Deal there. Of course, we didn't have any plan going into the new year on what the tax rates were going to be. December 17th, new tax rates came out. There's this great IRS section called Section 179. What it essentially allows you to do is allows you to buy equipment from VMware and IBM, and allows you as a small business to write off the entire expense this year. You don't have to depreciate it over the life of the asset, which used to be 5 years, but now it's only 3 years. It's interesting. You can buy a 5-year warranty on a server, but the government only thinks it's going to last 3 years. So the wonderful thing about Section 179 is, yeah, you can take it, but then the problem is there's a cap. And so when you're a growing company like ours, you hit the cap. So now where are you? You can't offset any income from it, so what do you do instead? Well, they did throw us a bone. We got Section 168, which is bonus depreciation, which used to only be 50% of the asset's value, and it went to 100%. So now actually we have 100% on Section 179, 100% on 168. The problem is you don't have any cash. You're not going to be able to do the capital expenditure anyway. It doesn't make any difference. So you have to go into operating expenses. Just like people in America who are losing their homes today and have the money to go out, and they have the income to go get a home, but they don't have the down payment. You know, the old days of lending when you had to have like credit, character, credit score, cash, 43 Mortgage Bank. I remember I was sitting in the office one day of one of my clients, the only one that's still in business, and he goes, "You're not going to believe this. We have a product right now, we will finance 110% of your property's value for 45 years. I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. So when you have cash, if you have good cash flow, you can live. You can live a long time. Profit is one thing. Cash flow is something else. You can live a long time on good cash flow and no money, meaning no profit. But you cannot live with no cash flow. I'll give you a perfect example. Who would like to have a $100 million contract right now? Raise your hand. I know I would. Okay, it's with the federal government. My father has been in government contracts administration for Westinghouse, like I said. I think it's like, what now, 37 or so years? I remember him calling me in the late 90s, and he was very excited. My dad's an engineer type, not very excitable person. And we're chatting, and I'm like, wow, Dad, you know, things must be, you know, going pretty good. And he said, yeah, I just closed out a contract that we had with the Department of Energy. Remember back in the day when Westinghouse used to be building nuclear power plants before, you know, we were melting the world with 3 Mile Island? Well, 1974, Westinghouse did a contract for the Department of Energy, and in the late 1990s, they got paid for it. Yeah, that's some money. Cash flow, it's everything.